Well, good morning, everyone. Michele Molitor here, the founder and circle creator of Wonder Women Unite. I'm so excited to have you here. Today is June 15th, and it's another beautiful day here in the San Francisco Bay Area for a Wonder Woman Unite call. And so for those of you who are new to the group, just to give you a little bit about us, we are an amazing group of women executives and entrepreneurs and educators and moms and sisters and mothers and daughters from all over the world. We are up to, as of today, 272 members from every corner of the planet, which is super exciting. And I have these calls every third Friday of the month at 9:30 a.m. Pacific. That's 12:30 Eastern, 5:30 British UK, and the rest of you beautiful women around the planet, then I'm sorry, you have to figure out your own time zone because that's too much for my brain to do. So if you want to continue and be part of the conversation in between calls, please join us. We have a private Facebook group. It's Wonder Woman Unite ! Because there's some other Wonder Woman Unite groups, go figure. So please ask to join, and you can join in the conversation there. And we record these calls every month, and you can find them both in the Facebook group and on my website, which is nectarconsulting.com. And if you look under the Michele Molitor tab, you'll find the Wonder Woman Unite tab tucked under there and all of the past calls. So can absorb the content to your heart's content. We've had lots of great conversations about really wonderful things. So enough about that. So today I'm very, very excited to have my dear friend, Shariann Tom, joining us. Shariann and I go back long time now. And I met Shariann when I was first becoming a coach, and we've been dear friends ever since. And Shariann is one of my sheroes. She makes me cry because I love her so much. Shariann is amazing. She's a 5-time cancer survivor, and as an astounding woman, and has taken the trials and tribulations and challenges of all of that and turned it into an amazing gift called the Cancer Journey. She is the founder and creator of the Cancer Journey. And what she does is she now trains people all around the world how to be cancer coaches, helping to be supports for those who are on their cancer journey so they can do it with more grace and more love and more support. So she's going to be sharing with us today some really beautiful, beautiful content. I've actually been through her training, and it's deeply moving and powerful. And this is just a segment of it, but we're going to be talking about why you matter, what makes you valuable for just being you, and why we need your light in the world. Yes. Shariann lives here in the San Francisco Bay Area out in Pacifica, and her brand new remade house after it got broke by a big tree.
There's some scaffolding behind me.
Yeah. And so with that, I want to welcome all of you ladies to the call. Please feel free to, turn your video on so we can see your beautiful faces. If not, that's fine too. Hi, Angie, and your beautiful face. And we're gonna have questions at the end. And so I will hand it over to Shariann now, and take it away, my dear. So happy you're here.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us this lovely day. I was going to say morning, but for lots of you on the East Coast, it's already afternoon. So welcome. And really, thank you for taking the time to, and I'm going to say this, show up for you, because what we're going to be talking about is a gift to you. And it's just a little piece. We hear you, Patricia. And we love you just for that, because it was fun.
Best sound bite ever.
Please don't be embarrassed. That was just fun. This is a gift for you because, where do I want to start? I was talking to Michele this morning, and I said, I'm really affected by the recent suicides. Kate Spade, Anthony Bourdain, and just the atrocities that are happening in the world. But particularly the suicides, because it's really present right now, and because I just want to just go, have them here and reach out and say, do you know that you matter? That you have value just because you exist? And I don't know if that would have saved them. I don't know if that would have been enough. But really, I want to reach out to the entire world and grab everyone, you, Angie, and Yoshoda, and Patricia, and Alice, and Erin, and June, and everybody else who's going to listen to this call, and say, you matter just because you exist. And so what I want to do today, just in this time that we have together, is to share with you the arc of the valued self. This is a way for you to know how you matter and the 7 components that you can step into to really get your mattering, to get your value. It's going to be things that you've heard before, perhaps, and lots of new stuff. The phrases might be new, like self-awareness, but I'm going to give you the definition of what we believe that it is, so that at every stage you can step more into your value. And I like interaction. So if you guys have questions, please unmute yourself, raise your hand, let us know that you have a question, that you want to participate. Okay? Great.
Hello, everybody.
Yay,
Hello.
we have more videos.
Alice has got a professional mic. Get it, girl.
So the first part of,
Annie.
do you have a question? No. Okay. The first stage of the arc of the valued self is self-awareness. And self-awareness is knowing that you have impact in every moment, positive and negative impact. Just that you always have impact in the world. And I was telling Michele, I was just back from a trip in Europe, and it's amazing to me how many people don't realize the impact that they have. That they'll walk down the street and bump into the next person or throw trash away on the floor, on the ground. And it's like, wow, your actions, positive and negative, have impact on the rest of us. We're part of a universe, and I think of the world as kind of like a body, and each one of us plays a key role. So when the finger does something, it impacts the hand, that impacts the arm, that impacts the whole body. And I deal with a lot of individuals who are home bedridden because they're going through their cancer journey, and they're saying, well, I don't have impact. I'm not doing anything. This is beyond doing. This is the impact that you have just because you exist. So it could be you thinking love and positive thoughts to somebody clear across the country because you can't physically be there. And in that moment, they feel it. It could be a hateful thought that you have, that you tweet out or that you put on social media, that has impact. So we have, and you probably have heard of the collective whole, where, let's say, for a moment, we honor a moment of silence for somebody going through a tragedy or a trauma, and that it has impact. It's kind of like the butterfly effect, that over here, a butterfly flaps its wings, and clear across the world, it's creating a tornado. That's the kind of impact that you have every day, all the time. So let me just pause there for a moment and see how that landed. Any comments? Any question?
I love that. You know, I geek out on the neuroscience of these things, Shariann, and we're all energy. Oh my goodness. Okay. We're gonna thank you, Wonder Woman fan Greg. Okay, that was interesting.
I'd say that was a thumbs up from
absolutely.
Just like to practice a little bit of intention.
Alice, I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Alice, where'd you go? I'm sorry, I'm having trouble, it says.
Oh, okay.
I just see a note pop up.
Okay, wow, very impactful. Sorry, I'm having troubles. Okay, no worries. The chat box works great, Alice, so we can see you there too. Thank you, Wonder Woman fan Greg, for the music. And I'm sorry I had to mute you. We're having the discussion part right here. But I was just saying is that if we get into the energetics of it, when you boil it down, we're all just energy. So what you're saying, Shariann, is really true, because our thoughts is energy. And if we're part of this collective of energy, then we do have that powerful impact, even just by sending our good thoughts, our love, our care to people, even when they're not here next to us.
Yes. So we also that's almost like foundational. We have impact in every moment. So the second stage is self-worth. And this is that the fact truly is a fact that you have intrinsic value. And I notice that I'm getting darker and darker, so I'm going to try to find a light source. I'll just carry you around with me in my house. That you have intrinsic value, which means that you were born with value, and you can't earn more and you can't lose any. You're just valuable, period. So in that value, we think that, we're less, there goes the light. We're less value in some moments, and we're more valuable in others. And oftentimes it has something to do with how much you're accomplishing or what you're doing. Well, that's not how it works. You are just valuable. And so what I want you to know is, while it may feel like you're experiencing different levels of value of yourself, of how much you're worth, that's just an experience. But the bottom line is you are valuable, period. So let me go back to the body. The hand is the hand. And if you cut off the hand, wow, it really impacts the whole. Or on another level, so we have $2 bills. One is all crumpled and dirty, maybe has a tear in a corner. And then there's this other pristine, beautiful, crisp, brand new dollar. They're both still worth $1. And so I want you to grasp the concept that you are valuable, period. That you have worth that cannot be taken away from you. Let's pause there. Michele?
Yeah, I love this. I actually took this concept into a classroom of 6th graders, and I pulled out a $50 bill, and I'm like, what's this? Like, it's a $50 bill. I'm like, great. How much is it worth? $50. Exactly. And it was pristine, right? And then I crumpled it up, and I stepped on it, and I smashed it, and they're like, and I pulled it back up. I'm like, okay, now how much is it worth? They're like, $50. And I'm like, okay, now everybody say to this dollar bill, this $50 bill, everything you might say to your siblings. Oh, you're mean, you're ugly, you're fat, you're blah, 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 right? And so they're yelling out at me all these things. And I'm like, okay, great. Now how much is it worth? I'm like, $50. I said, okay, now if you apply that to yourself, what do you know? And this little girl in the front, she's like, oh, I know. I said, what? She said, no matter what you do, you're always not gonna it's not going to work out or something. It was backwards. I was like, wait, no, flip that around. Just like, oh, no matter what you do, you always have value. I'm like, yes, you get it. So it was really great to see this classroom of beautiful little sixth graders like, oh, right. I do have value, right? I do matter. So, it's Carrie, every time you look at a dollar bill or any dollar bill now, you can look at it and go, oh, right, I have value and it can't be diminished no matter how I'm not feeling it today. Right?
Exactly. I'm having a bad day.
But it just feels like, to me, as a fan of the Wonder Woman film, because I really like that film, I think besides Man of Steel, it is the best DCEU film, hands down. But I just don't understand. Is Patty Jenkins and the entire writing team just trying to retcon every single thing that was established from Wonder Woman's history? It would be like if Steve Rogers wasn't really frozen for 100 years. And Peggy
hey, Greg, can I interrupt
out
you
for a week and then froze him again? It doesn't make sense.
Greg,
it completely takes away from the character of Wonder Woman that has been established.
I don't know where Greg's apparently
Greg
not
really
tracking.
wants to talk about Wonder Woman.
Yes, I get that, and I appreciate that, Greg, but we're not here to talk about Wonder Woman in the second film that's coming out, but thank you for that contribution. I appreciate it.
Yes, and he really, Greg feels very passionate about Wonder Woman, and we are all Wonder Women, men and women. I mean, that's back to the whole value, right? It's like we can't take away how valuable she is, how valuable we are. So that was the second component of the arc of the valued self. The third is self-esteem. And this is something different than what you might imagine. Self-esteem, we might have attributed akin to self-confidence. And they tend to be used interchangeably, but they are distinctly different. And so self-esteem in what we're talking about is the love that you earn from yourself. I'll let that sit for a moment.
Say that one more time, Shariann.
Self-esteem is the love that you earn from yourself. It's not something that you get from somewhere out there, but it comes from you. And that so let me tell you about the components of that. So the first one is integrity. I tell myself the truth. That's the first component of self-esteem. The second one is trustworthiness. I earn and continue to earn my own trust. I trust myself. Trustworthiness is like when you say to yourself, I'm going to go to the gym today. And then at 5 o'clock you go, I don't want to go. But your body was waiting for this promise that you made. Your body was like, yay, we're going to go work out. And all of a sudden you reneged. So trustworthiness is following through to promises that you make to yourself. Just as you would somebody else. Like, oh, Michele, I'll meet you tomorrow and we'll have lunch. And then all of a sudden I don't show up. That makes me very untrustworthy. And I want to be as trustworthy to you as I am to me, and to me as much as I am to you, because I would never do that to Michele. So why would I ever do that to myself if I would never do it to somebody else? Right. It's the love that I give to myself that I earn myself.
I love that.
Go ahead.
I've just been traveling you know how you go through life, you get in different spaces. I've been traveling through the space. And in the last few years, I've had the opportunity to really look at, and I've been very much a nurturer and caregiver. And when someone acts out, I see the hurt inside of them and I want to take care of it and fix it. Which has had me surrounded by a bunch of toxic energy. And so toxic people come to me to get taken care of, and they strike out because my natural response of it is to give them more care. Mm-hmm. And when you look at that, you know, I love myself. And I don't, like, if you just stand me up for lunch, if something's really, like something was really wrong, like you had a wreck on the way or something, of course, that's fine. But if you just didn't value my time enough, you won't get another lunch.
Right.
And stepping away from people, not to be mean, but just creating distance and going. It's like, they are who they are. I don't need to fix them, but they are who they are. And I don't need to be around them. And I don't need an excuse for not wanting to be around you.
Right.
And there's
right.
a lot of people in my life who are just, you know, they're just not for me.
Yeah.
Well, I love the high bar. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's a great way to put it. It's funny because I was supposed to have lunch with a colleague last Friday and he didn't show up. And I was like, hey, he's like, oh, I'm really sorry. I got sick and I'm in bed and I forgot and I apologize. I'm like, okay, I get that. But, you know, energetically, again, we vibrate at different frequencies, right? So the higher, the more positive we are in our lives, the higher our vibration, literally, right? Or conversely, the more negative we are with our thinking, the lower our vibration.
And the higher you vibrate, the more you agitate people who
are at a lower vibration. Actually, it gets to the point where if the vibration is too far apart, they can't coexist in the same space because they kind of repel each other. So it's like, oh, that's why my ex-husband left.
You know, I get myself, and here it is. Like when I start recognizing that this is going on, is they start making up bad things about me.
Oh.
Left for lunch, and then you take some space, and they make up bad things about you.
Right.
Like if you stood me up for lunch and just whatever, I'd be like, and I just don't worry about telling them off or putting them in their place or championing myself at all. I just don't even. I don't have to champion myself with people who love me.
Right.
That's
right.
a great point.
I don't have to stand up to Michele, who I've known for too many decades to confess.
Longer than you, Shariann.
I never have to stand up to Michele and say, look, Michele, you don't treat me that way. I don't ever have to explain to her how I'm valued. She treats me like I'm valued.
Yes, I love that. I mean, just look how high your self-esteem is. It's like, no, you are not going to violate me. You're not going to treat me as less than.
Well,
I will not accept
if you treat me as less than, and I put up with it, people always throw the you on you because here's the finger, but there's
right
pointing back, right?
Right.
You might be treating me in a way that is okay with you. Like that might be who you are. That might be okay with you to stand somebody up for lunch or to blow off things. It might be all right for you. And I'll let it be okay for you. The problem is by being in that relationship with somebody doing those things, I'm dishonoring myself.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't dishonoring me. I can't sit there and go, well, you're the dirtbag who stood me up. You're the one who's bad. You're the one. No, the three fingers point back at me. If I tolerate it, I dishonored myself.
Exactly.
Because the relationship is not, I mean, all the relationships in the world are not necessarily with you. They're with myself.
Yep.
And with my Lord. I mean,
right.
Like the way I act is the way I feel like I need to act to honor my higher power.
And Angie, you're taking us right into the fourth stage, which is self-love. Yeah. And a lot of people get kind of confused with self-love. They consider it like self-care. Oh, I'm getting a massage. I'm taking care of my body. That's only one aspect of self-love. And what you're saying, Angie, is what we agree with is self-love is loving yourself beyond reason. It's not earned love. It's just I love myself. And I'm not going to abandon myself, which is something that you were just talking about too. It's like
I respect myself.
Exactly.
I respect me.
Yes.
And the other part is whether I'm, Michele could tell you stories about being crumpled up and torn and drugged through. I mean, I've got a I get all the awards on that one. But as you've gotten worn and rumpled up and all that stuff, is that sometimes you let your feelings about yourself go down and be crumpled up with it. And what
Right.
you realize is that people are going to honor you to the extent that you set those boundaries.
Yes.
And
Boundaries are
that
so
means that
important.
everybody gets on this ride. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And I love that. Not everybody gets on this ride. That's quote of the day right there. That's awesome.
It's like if you don't treat me the way I like to be treated,
Yeah. And for all you ladies out there who are dating, take that one to heart, girl.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Right. And I want to point to, we don't need to, Michele, I know that you talk about this a lot, but it's not out there. We've got to start with the love here. And so where we're talking about self-love, there's actually 7 components. So can I just share those?
Yes.
Self-love. All right. The first one is to give of yourself to yourself. Michelle's going to say that again.
No, I'm writing. I'm typing these for you in the chat box for
To give of yourself to yourself. So kind of like what Angie was saying is like, I'm going to set the boundary. The boundary's for you. This boundary is for you when you say, no, you're not on this ride because you've hurt me, because you've treated me less than. That is giving of yourself to yourself. And then to respond to yourself, not to push yourself or push your feelings aside, but to respond to your needs. What is it that I want? What is it that I need? That's the second part of loving yourself. To respect, Angie said that. Honoring your emotions and what matters. How are you feeling in this moment? We're not really great at being aware of our emotions. We're not taught that. But the more that we do, the more we're giving to ourselves, we're honoring ourselves. And then to know yourself, to be honest with yourself. I tend to, when pushed and tired, go to martyr. And so it's like, I got it handled. I'm the only one who can do this. Well, that's not true. And I've just disconnected myself from others, and now I'm just lonely and alone. It's like, what is it that I really want? And being honest with myself, I feel hurt. I feel sad. I really want to be connected. I don't want to do this by myself, but I feel like I need to buck up. I need to prove something. So being honest with myself, and then going back to, to respond to myself. What is it that I need? What do I want? Reach out. Be there for me. The fifth one is to commit to myself. I can count on me. That goes back to trustworthiness. Can I set the boundary when someone crosses it? When somebody pushes me, can I stand up and say, no, that's not okay? I did that the other day with the car. And I know Michele and I are familiar with road rage. For some reason, we can let ourselves get angry in the car. I'm driving and somebody cuts me off and I'm like, am I invisible? And of course, my instant response is to hit the horn to say, hey, I'm here, because I needed to set that boundary of, no, you can't do that without me letting you know that I know that you did that. I matter.
And
then,
and I really appreciate you saying it that way, Shariann, because that helps me understand why, because I react the same way. I'm like, hey, and it's like, oh, okay, that's why it pings me, right? It hits that nerve, because it's like, I'm here. I feel like I'm Horton Hears a Who. I'm here.
Right, right. I'm not invisible. I want respect. I want kindness.
Right.
Yeah. So 2 more. To be intimate with yourself. And that's kind of interesting. People take it almost literally, like, woohoo, I need to be intimate with yourself. But that means to understand, to be honest, and to be tender with yourself. I often tell clients, be gentle with yourself. And they go, what's that mean? And it's like, oh, don't push yourself so hard. This goes back to all the others of knowing yourself, respecting yourself. What is it that I want? What is it that I need? Do I need a hug? And it's okay for me to hug myself. Or it's okay for me to ask to cuddle with my kid and, you know, our critters. Michele and I both have critters with my dog. Or to say to my husband, can you just hold me? But it's more about you holding you. It's being intimate with you.
Yeah.
And then the last one is care, what we were talking about, that self-care. It's like getting a massage, working your body, taking care, feeding your body well, nourishing it, those things. That's just a component of loving yourself. All the other ones really matter too. What you want, how you feel, how you treat yourself. Those are all acts of self-love. How's that resonating?
That's good. That's all good. No, I love that. Yeah, I'm taking notes over here in the chat box. So that's stage 4, self-love, and it has so many wonderful components to it, and there are really, really great reminders, because I think it's really easy, particularly as women, we get caught up in if I take care of myself, then I'm being selfish. Like, no, girl, you're not being selfish, because if we don't take care of ourselves, then we're in no shape to take care of the other people around us, right?
A quick check is, though, if you step up just to do something like, no, Michele, I'm really not going to go out tonight. I've had one hell of a week, and I'm just going to stay in and chill, because I am wiped out, girlfriend.
Yes.
How many friends would say, and I already know what Michele would say, you'd be like, oh, go put on some shorts and a t-shirt and keep your feet up. Do you have a good movie to watch? I've got a couple good, shows over here. I'll lend you. That would be Michele. Then you got other people who are like, no, go out with me. I need to da-da-da-da-da.
Right, or they'll make you feel guilty.
Set your boundaries for yourself. The people who can't deal with you having your boundaries, who want more for them than what they want for you, show up really quickly. All you have to do is start taking care of yourself, and the people that are there to get from you and not to give to you show up really quickly.
Yeah, here's a great example of that. This was years ago. A friend at the time had invited me to have Sunday brunch at the French Laundry, which is a very shishi 4-star restaurant in Napa. And I had never been, and I always wanted to go. And I thought, this would be really fun. And we had planned it several months in advance. And about a week prior, she checked in with me because there was going to be a group of us. And I said, I can't go. The man I was dating at the time, he, for like the first time, and invited me to come out to his home and meet his kids and go to the theater and on. And I wasn't going to be able to do both in the same weekend. Just wasn't going to work. And she went, I'm not kidding you, she went on for 20 minutes about how, I can't believe that, we've already paid for the table. I'm like, no, you haven't. You haven't already paid for the table. And she was just doing everything she could to manipulate me and make me feel bad and twist my arm to get me to come so she could be the queen bee in the center of attention at the center of the room at the French Laundry. I'm like, it's a breakfast. We can do it another time, right? And I'm like, I'm sorry. My developing this relationship at the time, which was very important to me, outweighed brunch. And she wasn't having it. And so that was when I was like, sorry, I don't need friends that are going to try and manipulate me and make me feel bad like that. So that was one of the last conversations we had. I'm like, sorry, That's just
What I love about what you're both saying is that you're creating an environment that works for you. Like this is the life that I want to live in, not this place where I'm beholden to other people and they get to dictate to me what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do it. It's like, no. And that feels so Wonder Womanish, right? Doesn't it sound like you're standing there with your hands on your hips and you're like, no, I'm standing up for me and what I want. My preference matters. What I want matters.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't know when selfish ever became a bad word.
Right.
Maybe it should be self first. I mean, on the airplane, right? They tell us put on that oxygen mask first before you help anybody else.
That's self-enabling. That's like,
I like that. Self-enabling. Another good word for the day.
And what you recognize in that is not selfishness. Like, I'm going to take care of me so that what they get, and you see people who are in a sum zero game. You see there's a lot of people that work in a corporation. There's only one office. There's only one director. There's only one whatever. So they compete for this one thing. They're in a sum zero game. So if I get it, you don't. And I don't play a sum zero game. I get it. And then I reach back and grab hold of you and pull you up with me, show you how I got it, share with you so you can have it too. So instead of there being one trophy, we've created 2 trophies, and I reach out and Michele reaches out to you, and now there's 3 trophies created.
Yes,
it's like we would live in a world of abundance, not in a world of scarcity.
Yes.
So, I'm happy when I get a chance to push Michele up ahead of me, because I know we're gonna. No, I'm serious. It's like being a rock climber, and I've done a good bit of that too. I'm happy to be the energy behind Michele to get her up ahead of me, because one thing I do is I trust that she's going to look back and lend a hand and not leaving me behind.
I absolutely agree. I think that's what the Women circles are about.
Is that Wonder Woman? I mean, you enable yourself, not so I can have and you cannot.
Right.
That's not in me.
Exactly.
And the reason you put the mask on yourself in the airplane is so that I can be my best, and I can put masks on the 6 other people surrounding me that couldn't get to it themselves. So that's why I enabled myself.
You got it, baby.
That's what was for. And that is what has been tremendously lacking in the female business world.
Yes. Yes. I think that's why there are these lean in circles, so that we can lift each other up and be champions for each other, so that we all can reach higher, rather than, oh, I need to be higher than you, so now I'm going to squash you down. That person really needs to work on their self-value, right? Because they're getting their value from squashing you down. If we're all feeling valuable and that we matter, then we're going to lift each other up, and we're going to be so much higher and more abundant, as you said, than all of us were before.
Well, the more you tear people down, the lower the whole pool gets. The lower the whole pool gets.
Yep.
And
that's a great visual.
I mean, just you see that, and like I said, as soon as I exit a situation, they start tearing me up a good one.
Yeah, and that's
they're upset because I'm not present to be torn up to my face, and then usually they have to have some verbal showdown with me to tell me what a jerk I am.
Well, and what that tells us, Angie, is that they don't love themselves enough or respect themselves enough to love and respect you. And so when we, in my work as a coach and therapist, when we don't feel good about ourselves, we try to bring other people down into our puddle of muddle or our pit.
That misery loves company.
Right. Because I can't be with you being so happy up there. So why don't you come down here? It's like, no, I've been there. Don't want to go there anymore. So you're welcome to join me up here. And if you're not ready to be there, then I will send you love and blessings until you are.
Right? It's like this meeting with you telling me what is this accomplishing? Do you think I'm going to want to come back and hang out with you again?
Yeah, exactly.
What were you thinking when you went in? And usually that one just stops them cold, because I just say, look, if my mind wasn't clearly made up that I wasn't going to be a part of this friendship before, you've handled that problem for me, and I've clearly made up my own.
Yeah. Thank you for solving that problem for me.
Okay.
Bye-bye now. Yeah.
All right, see, I think I'll go now. And I just don't even entertain them anymore.
Yeah. And that's a great point. Don't entertain them anymore. I always tell folks, when someone's coming at you with their barbs, right? Be Teflon. Just be Teflon in different neutral, right? Because then there's nothing for their barbs to latch into, because they want to fester. They want to foster that. They want to argue to make themselves feel better. But when you're just like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, and I have to go now. Take care. And you walk away from the situation, and then they're left with their own stuff, and they don't know how to be with it. And then they're like,
then you really
give
are
this
the
to
evil person. I mean, it's like, oh my God, then they can really turn you into the evil person, and you're like, just have at it.
Yeah, but that's really their stuff, so it has nothing to do with you.
You have to.
Well, I love what you guys. I mean, you're there's so much passion, and we're all going, yeah. We've all been in this experience before, and what you're really pointing us to the next stage, which is, you guys keep segueing me through. So thank you for that. Sometimes it's not easy to put up boundaries. We're afraid of being judged. I know, Angie, you probably have thicker skin than me, but when people talk behind my back, I go, oh, I'm a horrible person. And I don't want to take that on, because I do love myself. So the next stage is self-confidence, which is knowing that whatever is going to be dealt to you, you can handle it. That is the level of, that is the definition of self-confidence. So when you go into a situation knowing, I don't know what's going to happen, because, the unknown is the unknown. But whatever shows up, I'm going to deal with it, good and bad.
Here's the point. I don't have to deal with it. Like, let's say you show up with your whole bag of garbage to throw at me. I don't have to deal with it. I mean, I can, but I just don't have to.
Yeah, right.
And your choice, right?
What? You're having a really bad day. Why don't you go talk to, I'm really not a knowledgeable person to talk to about all this. Why don't you go find somebody who is? Bye.
Yeah.
Just put
it's like people show up and like, here, I have stinky poop. Will you take it? No, thank you.
I'm sorry,
keep that. And
how to handle that. You need to go to somebody much better than me.
Yeah.
Just put yourself down and walk away.
Yeah. The and the challenge sometimes, because I help people with their mental health. No. And so just the other day, actually, there was all this drama on my street, like outside my house, people yelling and screaming and trying to get into fights, and a guy literally tried to run this girl over in his car. It was horrible, right? And she was left there standing, crying with her suitcase. Yeah, it was very, very, very drama-y. And but the guy crashed into someone's car in the process too. So anyway, I went over to the young woman who was crying and very upset. And I was like, "Are you okay?" And she's, yeah. And clearly she was high on something. And I knew that I couldn't help her because of where she was at, but I could say, is there someone that you can call to come help you? And she borrowed my phone and she called a friend, and then the police came to deal with it. And she didn't even want to talk to the police because she was afraid it would make the whole situation worse. But, even in situations as drastic as that, it's like, yes, you need some serious help, and I'm not the person to help you with it in this particular situation, right? So it's about knowing your own boundaries, about where you can be of assistance and where you can't. As Angie said, like, you need some help, go, this police officer right here, he can help you.
Right.
But the other thing is, are they willing or wanting or ready to take that assistance? And she clearly wasn't. So.
Right, right. And I would guess that in what we're talking about, that young woman was not feeling solid in that she mattered in her value.
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah, she felt
Not
very
at all.
what you described was very much in a victim mode. Things were happening to her. Yeah.
He left me. He tried to kill me last night. I mean, it was.
Something. If you try to physically harm me, just count yourself out. Don't ever show your face to me again. If you try to physically harm me, I mean, I'm so sorry. You come to the door, I open the door, I'll see your face. I'll shut the door, I'll call the police, they'll take you away.
Right.
Process.
Which now you're speaking to the next stage, which is self-respect. And you had said earlier that you have high self-respect, and self-respect is honoring yourself and showing up for yourself. So I mean, exactly what you're saying.
Background, and I'm in love.
You're in love with yourself.
And I'm in love. Look, turn around behind you. There he is. Oh, he just walked out of the camera.
My dog?
Yes.
Oh.
I was like, what are you talking about? I don't see anybody.
Michelle, you know how obsessed I am.
Shariann has very cute dogs, that's for sure.
I don't even know who walked by.
A little black dog.
A little black dog. Oh, yeah, that's our newer one, Daisy.
Okay, go ahead with what you're saying. I'm sorry, I get so.
Oh, so self-respect. Self-respect. Like, you have very healthy self-respect, Angie. But if we use that woman from Michelle's example from yesterday, she did not. She didn't show up for herself. She wasn't going to advocate for herself. She was very much in a victim. I'm sure he did this to me and I didn't do anything. And she's not there knowing that she matters.
Yeah.
And that's a common place out there.
And it's very common, particularly in domestic violence, right? Women don't honor themselves. They don't value themselves. They get their value from the person over there who loves them. You know, she had a bruise on her face, and I was like, honey, we can help you. You can get help. You don't need to go back to that situation. She's like, no, I don't want to talk to the police because it'll only make it worse. And I was just like, yeah. I was like, oh, my heart goes out to her, but, and in situations like that, you can, in all my years, I've learned that you can only help people who are ready to be helped, who want to be helped to move to that next level of understanding, of expansion in their thinking, of self-love, self-care, self-respect. Because if they're not, then you can talk to your blue in the face and be like,
right. So she wasn't showing up for herself.
No.
And so because of that, her self-respect was pretty darn low. And there's a lot of things that, a lot of help that's out there for people in this place. And I mean, we're back to what Angie said. If we could just keep lifting each other up, and thank you for going out and letting her know that she wasn't alone, Michele, because that's scary.
Yeah, well, the other neighbors were all kind of standing around and we're all watching, and she's literally walking down the street with her suitcase, crying, and I was like, oh, so. And there are bad people involved. I get that. And I just couldn't bear to see her that way, hurts my heart.
Right. Yeah. And maybe something that you said could help her. Maybe she can, it made it have a pause for a moment saying, well, maybe I shouldn't have to tolerate this. Yeah. Maybe I could go seek help. And seeking help is showing up for yourself. It's because she matters, she reaches out. So I'm hoping in that's our dramatic scenario that she got something and she's going to move forward. That's what I can hope.
It's all we can hope for.
I just thought of you were coming back that we're talking about the people and all the suicides we've had. And I want to say this because I know we're getting closer on time. I want to share this before we go. But Michele may have seen this on my Facebook page. But right in the mix of all these suicides of prominent people, I always try to keep in mind we have 20 suicides a day of our veterans. 22 a day. They're taking their lives. That are our veterans that gave of themselves to the country. So anything you can do, Train the Dog, Save a Warrior is an amazing group that is taking rescues, getting dogs out of shelters, and using them as training them to be service animals.
Right.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But on a public site here on Facebook, it's a site that frequently, if you need somebody to a referral or something, you can go on this site and get a referral to somebody to fix your roof or business or anything. It's a kind of referral site. And the guy goes on there and he needs a referral. He's going through a bad time. His fiance dumped him. And he needs some help. He needs some help with somebody to deal with depression, substance abuse. And he's put it out there very plainly in there. In the first 5 hours, just when I saw that, 5 hours that had been posted, there were 72 comments. 72 comments here in Atlanta of people who are like, man, I've been through the same thing and I know it's awful, but you know what? My life is great now. Everything is cool. I'll be here. Why don't you private message me? People are like, I've already called my church and this is our program and you don't have to be a member of our church to go. Here's I mean, just, and I looked at that, 72 responses in 5 hours because this one man had the courage to put on a Facebook page in front of strangers who did not know him that he needed help.
Right. He showed up for himself. He said, I need help. I'm going to reach out. And I love that story because people do show up. And they said, 72 people said to this man, you matter.
Yeah, I'll do something. Or I've been there too.
Right, because they knew that they have impact. I mean, it's this whole thing, right? What we're talking about. Everyone has impact and we get to help each other and lift each other up. So the last part, because I know that we're running out of time, is the last stage is self-realization. And that is taking all of this love for yourself, this awareness that you have value, this awareness that you have impact, this awareness that you matter, and creating something new from it. This bounty of you knowing that you matter, use that in your self-realization to create something new in the world.
Yes, absolutely. I love these stages, Shariann, because it really very clearly and easily ticks it out for people to see how can I create more of my own value, my own self-love to get to that place of self-realization, which is a higher place of self-love, a higher vibration, where you feel better, you feel lighter, you know that you matter, that your contributions matter, and that your impact has meaning, even if it's in the tiniest of ways. And then it can even more powerfully create that ripple effect in the pond. Right. I like to think, before we started this call, Shariann, I checked in and she's like, what do you want to get out of this, Michele? And I was like, we're light workers and I want to be able to help turn on somebody's light bulb if they can come to their own realization of themselves and create that positive ripple effect of spreading their love into the world in a bigger, bolder way, then I'm good.
Yes.
That's really what this group is about, is helping people find their own selves, their own voice, stand in that knowing that they do matter, and sharing that their gifts, their talents, their passions in the world in whatever shape or form that looks like, and supporting each other and lifting each other up along the way, so.
I absolutely love what you're doing, what this group is about. And I feel like, even for those who didn't join us or are going to listen to the recording, it's like, yes, you matter. And when you know that you do, like Michele, you can go out of your house and help somebody else who doesn't feel that way. I mean, that story that you shared with the woman and the accident on the street and all of that drama, you were the ally for her. You were the helping hand that said, I see you and you matter, and it does not have to be like that. Yeah. And that we get to feel so great about ourselves, like Angie was saying, that we get to have our boundaries, but we also get to lift each other up. And if nothing else, I just want you to walk away from this call letting you know you matter, not because of anything that you do, just because you exist.
Yeah, absolutely. Years ago, I was at an event, and there was this big group of people, like 400 people. And the question from the stage was, chocolate, vanilla, which do you choose?
I know.
And you know, it's landmark,
I know
right?
the event. I wasn't with you. I know this event.
Right. Chocolate, vanilla, choose. And so this person's up there on the stage with them like, I choose chocolate because it's my favorite flavor. Nope. I choose vanilla because it's my favorite flavor. Nope. I choose chocolate because it's my child's favorite flavor. They go on and on. And so, like, 20 minutes.
Finally, a grown man sits down and cries because he can't get it.
Yeah, and the light bulbs are starting to pop around the room, right? You can see them like, oh, I get it. Oh, I get it.
And when you're on stage, your light bulb can't pop when you're in front of everybody.
Well, and then it finally did, right? But ultimately, I choose chocolate because I choose it. Just choosing it, right? And so all of what we're talking about is I choose value because I choose it. I choose myself to have value and to know that I matter. And every day, even if you're having a really hard day, ladies, choose yourself. Choose yourself first every single day and know that you are loved, and that you matter and that you have an impact. Even if you don't even leave your house, you still have an impact.
Yes.
So choose yourself. Or choose
chocolate. And the other part is choose
Thank
chocolate.
you.
Choose chocolate. And you know what? You're not locked into chocolate. Next time you can choose something else.
Right.
Like you choose chocolate, and maybe, for no other reason, the chocolate was good. Maybe the next time you choose something else is really giving yourself the freedom.
Yeah.
And just because you made a choice once doesn't mean you have to make it again.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, the freedom of that.
Yes.
Beautiful.
I always say, I'll try anything once, and if I don't like it, I don't have to do it again or eat it again or try it again.
I'm grown and my mama ain't here.
I'm grown and my mama ain't here. I love that. Words of wisdom by Angie. You could have a whole book full of those, Angie.
Angie
yeah, but they might lead you someplace you don't need to
go. And then you can change your mind for something else.
Your mind.
Awesome. You need to message everybody that is invited to this call and let them know how much they missed.
Yeah. Well, I will get this uploaded to YouTube and share it out. And it was a really, really wonderful call. So thank you, Shariann, for all your wisdom and your light and your beauty and sharing that with us here today. And if anybody's interested in connecting with Shariann, you can find her on Facebook, Shariann Tom. And you can visit her website, thecancerjourney.com. Watch the video. It's awesome and heart-wrenching.
Michelle's in it.
And also, please tune into the One Woman Unite Facebook group and join us there as we continue the conversation offline or online, off video. And our next call is going to be July 20th, the third Friday of the month. And we'll be having another special guest, my friend and colleague, Lisa McGonigal, and she's going to be talking about money manifestation. So that'll be a fun call. And she's a hoot, man. She's a hoot. So I look forward to seeing you all then. In the meantime, have a wonderful and blessed day and a great month. And we will see you all in July.
Michele, I don't know.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I don't know if you've heard some strange sounds coming from behind me, if it's picked up on my mic.